Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are continuing our reading of Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta. Shri Krishna is speaking to Rukmini Devi and other queens headed by, beg your pardon, Shri Krishna is speaking to Shri Satyabhama Devi and other queens headed by Shri Rukmini Devi are listening intently as Shri Krishna is glorifying his life in Shri Vrindavan. रूपेण वेशेण रवामृतेन वंशाश्च पूर्वानुदितेन विश्वम् सम्मोहितं प्रेम भरेण कृष्णम् तिष्ठन्तु दूरे व्रजवासिनस्ते. My beautiful form, my dress, and the nectarian sound of my flute. Rupena, by my form. Vasa means dress, or Vesha means dress. So, Veshena means by my dress. Rava Amritena, Vamsha. With the Vamshi, Rava, which is like nectar, Amrit, which was Purva Anuditena, which was never before manifested in this world. There are many people who play flute in this world, but it is not like the flute playing of Krishna. There are many experts in flute playing, but Krishna's flute playing is apurva. Purva an uditena. Udita means to rise or manifest. Anuditena means never before manifested. Purva means in the past. Never had this world heard such nectarian flute playing until Sri Krishna came. So Sri Krishna is saying, with my beautiful form, Rupena, with my beautiful dress, Pitavasa, with my yellow pitambar dress, and the nectarian sound of my flute, my Venu Madhuri, which was never manifested before in the whole universe. I enchanted the whole universe with overwhelming love of God, Krishna Prem. Prema Bharena Sammohitam Vishwam. Entire Vishwa, entire universe was enchanted, Sammohitam, Prema Bharena, with Krishna Prem. So, what to speak of how these affected the residents of Vraja? If the whole universe was affected by my beauty, by my dressing, by my flute playing, then, my dear Satyabhama Rukmini, imagine how much more the Vrajvasis, who were very close to me, who were closest to me, how much they must have been afflicted. Beg your pardon, affected. Afflicted after I left them, but deeply enchanted, sammohitam, with my beauty, my dressing, and my flute playing, because I was very close to them. You see, in the summer season, the axis of the earth, it shifts, and the hemisphere, either the northern hemisphere of the earth or southern hemisphere, of whichever hemisphere is closer to the sun, that experiences summer. It can be really scorchingly hot. Correct? That is because it is coming closer to the sun. So, if by the slight tilting of the axis of the earth, we on earth experience summer and winter, can you imagine what happens to planets which are closer to the earth, to the sun? If far away from the sun, we experience summer and winter, depending on whether we are closer or farther away from the sun, respectively. Imagine of those celestial bodies which are extremely close to the sun. And now think of the residents who live on the sun. How much more heat and light they are experiencing because they are so close. The Vrajvasis were like residents on the sun. They experienced maximum love of Krishna. They experienced maximum beauty of Krishna. Krishna never really conversed confidentially, lovingly with Lord Brahma, Indra, Varun. He did that with the Vrajvasis. Prahasitam priya, prema vikshanam, viharanam chate, dhyana mangalam, rahasi samvido. Samvad means discussion, and rahasi means confidential discussions. Rahasi samvido. He used to speak very, very confidentially with them. So that Sri Krishna did with only the Brajvasis. So Sri Krishna is telling the queens of Dwarka that please imagine how much my Vrajvasi devotees, specifically the Vraj Gopis, were affected because they experienced my beauty, my attractive dressing, and my attractive flute playing the most. Therefore, sometimes it is a great blessing to be very close to a great personality. At the same time, it can be very painful also to be very close to a great personality when that great personality departs from this world. History has seen this. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami and Sri Ramananda Rai were closest to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. And in some literatures like Bhakti Ratnakar, in the life story of Sri Srinivas Acharya, it is described what happened to Sri Ramananda Rai and Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami could not bear to live. He just, in the pain of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he entered into Samadhi and just left this world. He could not live. And Ramananda Rai lost all external awareness, and people thought he had become mad. And he remained like that till the end of his life. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought him to his house and kept Ramananda Rai in his house. And seeing the madness of Ramananda Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also became mad. And both of them, like madmen, would sit without bathing, without cleaning, without eating, without sleeping. together in the house of Sarvam Bhattacharya and converse like madmen about Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. This is what happens, my dear friends, when we are very close to a great personality. It has advantages, but as Srila Rupa Goswami says, if you are attracted to your material life, don't go to Keshi Ghat and look at Govinda. So if we are attached to our material life, don't fall in love with a great soul. Because when that great soul will depart, you will be devastated. Shri Krishna is saying, so what to speak of how my form, dress, and nectarian sound of my flute affected the residents of Vraj. And after Krishna left, afflicted them. Commentary by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Shri Krishna's beauty never diminishes even when he leaves Vrindavan to reside elsewhere for more than 100 years. Only in nostalgic retrospect does Shri Krishna think he was more beautiful during his youth. But because of Shri Vrindavan's special sweet mood created by the spontaneous attraction between Shri Krishna and his devotees, there and nowhere else, only in Vrindavan, Shri Krishna feels free to add certain items to his appearance, like the peacock feather in his hair. Dwarkadish doesn't wear peacock feather, he wears a crown. Dwarkadish doesn't hold a flute, he holds the sword as a Kshatriya. So certain aspects of Vrajendranandan Krishna are only Vrajendranandan Krishna. Both have lotus feet, both have lotus navel, both have lotus eyes, both have lotus garland. Dwarkadish Krishna and Vrajendranandan Krishna. Namah Pankaja Nabhaya, Namah Pankaja Malani was spoken for Dwarkadish Krishna. And that is true in Vrindavan also. Aravinda Nabha. However, certain aspects of Sri Krishna are only in Vrindavan. Krishna walking barefoot. Haribol. Krishna holding the flute, having peacock feather, wearing a turban. He doesn't wear a turban in Dwarka. He wears a golden crown. And only in Vrindavan does Krishna play his flute. This is a point to be noted. Krishna plays flute only in Vrindavan. Once I was discussing about the four unique aspects of Krishna that Bhagavan's other forms do not possess, like Lord Ramachandra, Lord Narasimhadev, Lord Narayan, Lord Vamanadev. And they are the Rupa Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri. So one person I was discussing with got a little upset with me. Flute. Pandit Jasrai also plays flute. Why Ram cannot play flute? He was a Ram Bhakta. Human beings play flute. Why you are saying that only Krishna can play flute? क्या लॉर्ड नारायण में सामर्थ्य नहीं है फ्लूट बजाने का? क्या रामचंद्र भगवान फ्लूट नहीं बजा सकते? Of course they can play. And they can play just like Krishna. But they don't. It is not that they don't have the Rupa Madhuri. They don't have the Venu Madhuri. They don't have the Leela Madhuri. They don't have the Prema Madhuri. That is not what we are saying. It is the same Bhagwan. There is only one Bhagavan. Ekela Ishwara Krishna. There is only one Ishwara Krishna. And from him all avatars come. Sarva Avatari Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan. Everything, all incarnations come from Krishna. Ramadi Murtishu Kalaniyamena Tishta Nana Avatar Akaroda Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. All the avatars are coming from Krishna. They are Krishna only. But Krishna chooses to not manifest his Rupa Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, like he does in the form of Lord Nandanandan Krishna. That is understanding. We are not putting down Lord Ram, or we are not saying that Krishna is more powerful than Ram, or Krishna is more powerful than Narsimhadev. Not at all. From the point of view of Tattva, Tattva means spiritual truth. From the point of view of Tattva, Siddhanta, they are one Bhagwan. Only one Bhagwan is there. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam. So he's just one Purana Purusham who manifests different avatars, different murtis. What we are saying is, from the point of view of rasa, the rasa means the bliss of a personal relationship that is enjoyed by Sri Krishna and his devotees. Rasa means that taste, that enjoyment that is experienced by Bhagavan and Bhakta, situated in their unique individual personal relationship. I repeat, rasa is the bliss experienced by Bhagavan and Bhakta in their individual unique personal relationship. The rasa that Rasaraj Krishna, Rasaraj Gopal manifests is not manifested by any other avatar. That is all we are saying. And you can look at Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the highest Praman, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam, Tad Vaishnavanam Priyam. And you see, ninth canto describes Ram Lila, seventh canto describes Narsimha Lila, eighth canto describes Vamana Lila. For yourself, you can see, is there Ras Lila in any other avatar? Is there Brahmar Geet in any other avatar? Is there Gopi Geet in any other avatar? Is there Venu Geet in any other avatar? It is not there. Therefore, Sri Krishna is, from the point of view of Rasa Vichar, from the point of view of Rasa Tattva, Sri Krishna displays and experiences Rasa like no other avatar does. That's all. And that is not an argument, it's an undisputed fact. There is no Ras Leela in other avatars. Thus enchanted. So the point to be noted is, only in Vrindavan does Krishna play his flute. So we can add and say that what to speak of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Narsimhadev, Lord Vamanadev, Ityadi, even Dwarkadish Krishna cannot match Brajendranath Krishna. That is the point. That is the point. The Rupa Madhuri, the Venu Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, Prema Madhuri that Sri Krishna displays in Vrindavan, that is not displayed in Mathura or Dwarka or Hastinapur or Indraprastha or Mithila. Wherever Krishna went during his pastimes 5,000 years ago. Nothing, nowhere, only Vrindavan. Thus enhanced, Sri Krishna's natural charm allures the entire world, creating a transcendental taste that defeats all kinds of material enjoyment and is millions of times more relishable than the impersonal happiness of Brahmananda. Everyone in the universe can taste this highest bliss of Vrindavan by hearing about it from scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, as presented by pure Vaishnavas. Thus, the supreme bliss of Krishna consciousness is available anywhere. Through the association of pure devotees, through the association of the book Bhagavat and Bhakta Bhagavat. There are two Bhagavatams. There is Grantha Bhagavat and there is Bhakta Bhagavat. Still, those who can live directly with Krishna in Vrindavan and relish his association, not only with their ears, but with all their senses, are certainly most fortunate. See, we are very fortunate that we can taste Krishna Leela through our ears by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We are fortunate. But Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad is saying, most fortunate are those who can experience Vrajendranandan Krishna's Vraj Leela with all their senses. With their eyes, they can actually see Krishna performing Vraj Leela. With their ears, they hear Krishna's sweet voice. They converse with Yashoda, Nanda, Shridham, Sudham, Madhu Mangal, Srimati Radharani, Lalita Vishaka Sakhi ityadis. With their mouth, they can actually taste Makhan given by Krishna, stolen by Krishna. With their skin, they can actually touch Krishna, embrace Krishna, play with Krishna. With their karmendriyas also, hands and legs, they can perform Gocharan Leela with Krishna, swim with Krishna in Yamuna, play hide and seek with Krishna. And also with another karmendriya, they can converse with Krishna, argue with Krishna. Those devotees who experience Vraj Leela of Shri Krishna directly with all their indriya, all their senses, are certainly most fortunate. They are most fortunate. Learned scholars of the Vedas therefore conclude that the greatest perfection of life is to follow successfully in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis and in course of time be invited to take up residence in the Vrajvasis' eternal abode. Can you imagine the depth of this one sentence of Srila Sanatan Goswami in the commentary? Learned scholars of the Vedas, those who are connoisseurs of Rasa Tattva, the Pandits of Rasa Vichar, they have concluded that the greatest perfection of life is to follow in the footsteps of Rajvasis, becoming Anuga to the Ragatmika Bhaktas, which means practicing Raganuga Bhakti. And by practicing Raganuga Bhakti in this life, be invited to become Rajvasis. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna further says, Akashayana Vidhiruddra Shakra Siddha Shashi Deva Ganas Tathanye Gavo Vrishavat Sagana Mrigascha Vrikshakhaga Gulmalata Stridani Natyotha Megha Sachara Sthirascha Sachetana Tanaka Prapancha Prema Pravahottha Vikara Ruddha Swabhava Parivrittimapuhu. Lord Brahma, Lord Rudra means Lord Shiva, Shankar Bhagwan, Lord Indra, Chandra, and the Siddhas and other demigods moving in the sky were overcome by changes aroused in them by the current of ecstatic love. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna is saying this that with my beauty, with my flute music, even the demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, King Indra, Chandra, Siddhas, other demigods, they're watching from the sky. It caused prem vikar in them, changes of ecstasy, ecstatic love, prem vikar. Vikar means transformation. When that transformation happens in Krishna, he's called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that phenomenon is called Prema Vivarta. as written by Sri Jagadananda Pandit. So too were the cows, bulls, calves, and wild beasts, the trees, the birds, the bushes, creepers, and grass. They also experienced Prem Vikar. The rivers were overcome. They would stop flowing, sometimes flow in the reverse direction. The clouds, they would become umbrella for Krishna whenever needed. And all other beings, both moving and non moving, alive and inert, each of them underwent a transformation by which their own nature changed into a nature just the opposite. Hare Krishna. Even Hiranyakashipu, during his reign of terror, created reversal in the nature of many natural elements and phenomena. He would make mangoes grow off season. He would make it warm in the winter. He would make it cool in the summer. The temperature would be 70 degrees Fahrenheit every day. Whatever he wanted. But that was out of fear. Our Shama Sundar, Gopijana Vallabh, Gopinath, Krishna, he does not do out of fear. Madbhayat vati vatoyam mrityusharati madbhayat, that is outside Vrindavan. But in Vrindavan, everything moves with the electrical energy of Prem. Prema Pumartho Mahan. The highest currency in Vrindavan is Prem. It is Premera Vikar. Haribol. And their nature would just become the opposite. Govardhan is solid, it would start melting. Even today, there are rocks that melted with Krishna's footprints on them because of melting. And Yamuna, that is normally flowing, would stop flowing, would become non moving in ecstasy. So, all these changes, transformations happened because of Krishna's Rupa Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Ityadi in Vrindavan. Commentary. From the demigods to the blades of grass, every living being present in Vrindavan to see Vrajachandra, Krishna's pastimes, became ecstatically transformed. Even non living objects gained consciousness and underwent these effects of Prem Bhakti by manifesting Prem Vikar. In the sky above Vrindavan, celestial persons often gathered to watch what was going on, including not only the chief demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, but also sages, Gandharvas, and Vidyadhars. If you see the BBT Ras Leela painting that was authorized by Srila Prabhupada, you noticed the Ras Leela is going on in a circle. Radha Shyam Sundar are dancing, and Sri Krishna is dancing with all the Vraj Gopis individually because it is Maharas Leela. And in the sky, you can see demigods. Prabhupada was so perfect, attention to detail. Love is in the details. Prabhupada shows demigods in the sky watching. The demigods and the residents of Rajdham were so powerfully affected by the constant flood of prem that their natures changed. Prem, Vikar. Those who were accustomed to staying in heaven were attracted to come down to the earth. Devachari Gopis. Lord Brahma and other prominent demigods, the wisest and most respected authorities in all, it should be fields, in all fields of knowledge, lost their power of discrimination and became like simple fools. Hare Krishna. This is most important. In front of our superiors, we should always be like simple fools. Simple fools. In fact, it is an offense to instruct someone in the presence of our Gurudev. Simple fools. Of course, we use our intelligence in the service of Sri Guru, but we should not show off our knowledge in front of Sri Guru. We're simple fools. And the cows and other animals who roamed normally in the fields seemed to achieve samadhi, the culmination of all mystic knowledge, because they became stabdha in ecstasy. The animals were supposed to move around. Those animals stood still like immobile plants, whereas the actual plants, the trees, bushes, creepers, became like animals, trembling and moving about. So the natures became opposite. During the South India, beg your pardon, during the visit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan, when he went with Sri Balabhadra Bhattacharya and one servant, as he was going through the Jharkhand forest, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also displayed this type of prem vikar in sthavar jangam, moving and non-moving living entities. The rocks melted. Even today in Jharkhand forest, there are rocks with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footprints because those rocks melted as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted Krishna Nam. And tigers and deer, who under ordinary circumstances are sworn enemies, they were embracing and kissing each other. How the nature becomes opposite. Tigers only give the kiss of death. These other animals just come and catch the nape of their neck, and that is death. Just break their spine and carotid arteries. But those tigers were giving up all enmity, and they were embracing each other, dancing, singing, and even kissing. The lifeless rivers and lakes became as if alive, overflowing with ecstasy. They sometimes stopped their currents completely and sometimes flowed wildly. And in the sky, the wind-blown clouds became fixed in one place, assuming the roles of umbrellas, shading Krishna and his devotees from the sun. Everybody is serving. Trees are moving and giving fruits. Animals have become still. These wonders are described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Vividha gopacharena shu vidagdho विविधगोपचरणेषु विदग्धो वेणुवाद्य उरुधा निजशिक्षा तव सुत सती यदाधरबिम्बे दत्तवेणुरनयत् स्वरजातिः सवनशस्तद् उपधाय सुरेशा शक्र शर्व परमेष्ठी पुरोगाः कवय आनत कंदरचित्ताः कश्मलं ययुरनिश्चिततत्त्वाः. O pious Mother Yashoda, your son, who is expert in all the arts of herding cows, has invented many new styles of flute playing. When he takes his flute to his bimba, bimba is a fruit that is reddish in color, and Krishna's lips are called bimba, bimbadhara. His adhara, his mouth, lips are like bimba. Bimbadhara oshta. Upper and lower lips are like reddish like the bimba fruit. Bimba red lips. And Sri Krishna then sends forth the tones of the harmonic scale in variegated melodies. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, King Indra, and other chief demigods become confused upon hearing the sounds. Although they are the most learned authorities, they cannot ascertain the essence of that music, and thus they bow down their heads and hearts. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:35, 14:15. Yugala Geet. Etat satyam asatyam va kalindi pritchatamiyam yato vrajajana swaira viharananda sakshini. Etat satyam asatyam va. You can ask Kalindi, Yamuna, whether this is satya or asatya, whether this is true or false. Shri Krishna. So why he's saying like that? Because Kalindi is one of the wives in Dwarka. And Kalindi is the river Yamuna. So she has experienced this and she has seen it in other living entities. Yamuna also used to become stabdha. All the taralata, her nature to flow, would be reversed because of Krishna's Rupa Madhuri and Venu Madhuri. So Shri Krishna is telling Satyabhama, Rukmini Ityadi, you can ask Kalindi. Kalindi Prichhayatam. Ask this to Kalindi. She witnessed the blissful pastimes freely enjoyed by the people of Vraja. Vihara Ananda, the bliss of Vrindavan Vihar. How we did completely Swaira. Swaira means completely carefree with the Vrajajana. And the Sakshi is Kalindi. Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri, Govardhan, Kalindi, Yamuna, Jai, Jai Mahavan. You can ask Kalindi whether this is true or false. No one should think that Sri Krishna, out of enthusiastic love for his devotees, is speaking exaggerated praise of them. Krishna is saying, this is not Arthavad. Please understand, this is not Arthavad. I'm speaking the truth. Queen Kalindi can vouch for the accuracy of what Sri Krishna has said about life in Vrindavan because she was there in the form of river Yamuna. Shri Yamuna, being the sister of Yamaraj, the king of religion, always speaks the truth. Hmm? Another Mahajan ki बहन है. Another this reason. अधुना तु स एवाहं स्वज्ञातिं यादवानपि नेतुं नार्हामि तं भावं नर्मक्रीडा कुतूहलैः. But I cannot arouse the same emotions now in my relatives, the Yadavas, either with joking or with entertaining pastimes. Hare Krishna. Adhuna, now as Dwarka Dhish, Swadmyatim in my Yadavan, in my relatives called Yadavas, I cannot arouse that same bhav. Na netum arhami tam bhavam. I cannot arouse that those same ecstatic symptoms in these Dwarkavasis. They are just not qualified. Either through Narma, Krida, Kutuhale. Neither with joking nor by entertaining them, nor by telling them my wonderful entertaining pastimes. You see, when Srivas Thakur heard the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam from Devananda Pandit, he experienced ecstasy. He started giving hunkar, Ha Krishna, and started rolling on the ground in ecstasy. And so many other Paduyas were also listening, students were listening. Did they experience the same Prem Vikar? No. That's what Krishna is saying. The new Dwarkavasis, I can tell you Braj Leela, but you will not experience that same ecstasy as I Balram and Subhadra will experience. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Their bodies transformed hearing Vraj Leela. Didn't happen to Rukmini. Didn't happen to Satyabhama. Haribol. As Mother Rohini was describing Vraj Leela. Why? Because that software is not there. For a program to run, you should have appropriate operating system. Dwarka Vasis, their operating system is different. It is DOS, but you need VOS. Here we have iOS. Dwarka operating system, it's a different software. And VOS is the Vrindavan operating system. That is what you need to experience that Prem Vikar when Vraj Leela is narrated. Therefore, different devotees have different experience in Harikatha. Some devotees are waiting for Harikatha to get over. Some devotees say, Achhe points the. They have academic view of listening. I understood this point. Now in my next lecture, I can repeat this. They are in a knowledge gathering mode. And some devotees are actually shedding tears. Shedding tears. Completely moved by the pastime. So it depends on the internal state of consciousness. What Sri Krishna feels missing outside Vraj is not just the pleasure he enjoyed there. Rather, outside Vraj, he feels less capable of satisfying his devotees. As a speaker, when sometimes the audience are very, very receptive and they are absolutely in sync, then it gives so much joy. Sometimes when I'm serving Gaur Katha, even when I'm reading the Bengali verse, some devotees, they just catch it, they understand, and they Haribol, Haribol, even before I tell the translation. They are so in sync with that because they understand. So when such bhavuk audience are there, it's such a Harikatha just flows because they are eager to hear. They are extracting. Even what is not there is coming out by their potency. Because the Shrotagan, the listeners are so eager to hear. Then Krishna manifests the Katha for their pleasure. And the speaker is just Nimitta Matra. He is the loudspeaker. We have the microphone and the loudspeaker, na? So the Kathakar becomes the speaker, loudspeaker. And speaker is Krishna. Why? Because the Shrotagan want to hear. They are so eager. Sometimes happens completely unprepared. But the devotees are so eager that some nice Katha manifests. And then the speaker is thinking, wow, I had never planned it like that. है ना गौर सुनोचरण Prabhu? It is the eagerness of the Shrotagan that extracts the Katha. But that happens when the Shrotagan are very receptive, very eager to hear. Ugra Shrava. They're eager to hear. So Krishna feels like that out of Vrindavan. Vrajvasis were so much in sync with Krishna's heart that it was very easy to please them. Very easy to cause them to experience Prem Vikar. But outside Vrindavan, Krishna has not found even one devotee like that. In Dwarka, he talks intimately and jokes with his wives, friends, advisors, entertains them with water sports. All this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. He does water sports, other pastimes. But outside of Raj, the feelings are never the same. Outside of Raj, he evokes reverence from his devotees. So in his dealings with them, he can never feel the same freedom of expression, that informality, that intimacy that he feels in Vrindavan with the Vrajvasis. It's a whole different level. And what more Shri Krishna says in glorification of the Vrajvasis and his life in Vrindavan, Krishna willing, we will see tomorrow. And now let's see what transformation Satyarama Mataji wants to create in me.
Hare Krishna, nothing.
My
Usually one
plans.
more word spending.
One more
That's
verse,
it.
ठीक है? So we'll go back. दुष्करम में बभूवात्र त्वादृशां मानभञ्जनम् अतोत्र मुरली त्यक्ता लज्जयैव मया प्रिया. Shri Krishna is saying, here in Dwarka, I have found it difficult to break the man, the jealous pride of queens like you. Embarrassed, I have therefore put aside my dear flute. Murali Tyakta, I have put aside. This Murali doesn't work. Like they say ना, ये जूते में कोई खराबी नहीं है, तो पैर ही छोटा है. There was no problem in the flute. It's just that Dwarkavasis were just not on the same caliber, not on the same level as Vrajvasis. If one has a simple car, simple sedan, commuter car, and you can floor the accelerator all the way, but it won't go beyond 120 miles per hour. But then, if you have a Ferrari and you floor the accelerator, it can go even 200 miles an hour. Why? Because it has a different structure and function. It's a sports car. Similarly, there's a difference between Vrajvasis and Dwarkavasis. They are not on the same level. Vrajvasis are more advanced devotees from the point of view of Rasa Vichar. From the point of view of Tattva Vichar, both are Siddha. Both are perfect devotees. Both are pure devotees. Both are liberated. But from the point of view of Rasa Vichar, Vrajvasis are superior. And that is the whole point of this canto of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Shripad Narad Muni's quest to find the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy in terms of rasa. Tattvata, all these are pure devotees. Hanumanji is a pure devotee. Prahlad Maharaj is a pure devotee. Uddhav is a pure devotee. They're all pure devotees. But here there is consideration of rasa vichar. From the point of view of rasa, which devotee has received maximum ras from Krishna? Recipient of greatest mercy according to rasa vichar. And the Vrajvasis are the best. Ramya Kachid Upasana, Vrajavadhu Vargena Kalpita. The best worship has been contemplated and performed by the Vrajvasis. And that also the Vrajavadhu, Vrajanganas, the young gopis of Vrindavan in Madhura Rati, Shringar Ras, Adi Ras. Therefore, it is not actually difficult for Krishna to control their pride, which is meant only to please him. Nonetheless, Krishna cannot take the same liberties in Dwarka as he did in Vrindavan. He says that in Dwarka, he feels ashamed to play his flute, as if concerned that people will laugh at him. Perhaps closer to the truth, in Dwarka, he no longer feels the inspiration to create the exquisite music he produced in Vrindavan. This is the point. The Shrotagan, they extract from the Vakta. The audience, they extract nectar from the person who is serving as the speaker. And in Dwarka, Shri Krishna does not have that type of audience. He knew when he stood under the Vamshivat tree in the night that the Vraj gopis are far away from me in their respective homes in Vraj. But as they are boiling the milk, as they are cooking for their families, rolling chapatis, as they are feeding their babies, as they are serving their husbands, as they are serving their in laws, they are constantly thinking of Krishna. As they are taking a shower, as they are getting dressed, they are constantly thinking of Krishna. Krishna knew that the ears of the Vraj gopis are pining to hear the sweet fifth note, Pancham Swara, of his flute. And therefore, Krishna would take out his flute under the Vamshivat tree and he would play on his flute. That is the reason. Because he had audience of that caliber who are completely in sync with Krishna's heart. But in Dwarka, he does not have such audience. The Dwarkavasis are just not as in tune with Krishna's heart as the Brajvasis. Therefore, Krishna feels that they will not be able to understand his Venu Madhuri. He doesn't have the inspiration to play his flute in Dwarka. How much Lord Krishna's glories are manifest varies according to the environment he is in. This is a very important point. Very important point. Both from Rasa Vichar and Tattva Vichar. Rasa Vichar, we are saying that the ras that flows in Vrindavan is unparalleled. It doesn't happen in Dwarka, Mathura, anywhere else. And even from the point of view of Tattva, Shastra is revealed according to the audience. There are many books of religion in the world. But why Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are the best? It is not because of some sentimental attachment that we say, oh, because I was born in India in a Hindu family, I say that Bhagavatam is the best. From a very, very tatastha point of view, a neutral point of view, analyze and see. Compare it and contrast it to any book of religion. See the depth, see the vastness of Srimad Bhagavatam, both in terms of tattva and rasa. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam was revealed, first of all, by Sri Shukdev Goswami, who is the personal parrot of Srimati Radharani, taught by Srimati Radharani. And the recipient is none other than Vishnurat, Sri Parikshit Maharaj, the grandson of Arjun, grandnephew of Krishna, very qualified person. And Bhagavad Gita, Arjun himself. Arjun himself is the calf, and Sri Krishna is the milk giving cow. So what comes out is nectar. Whereas if the audience are some polytheistic Romans or some uncultured, meat-eating, uncivilized, bloodthirsty warriors in some desert, what are you going to teach them? ABCD, basics, because they're uncivilized. But Arjun was a highly cultured Aryan. Parikshit Maharaj was willing to fast from food and water, even give up his sleep as the king for the last 7 days of his life. He had so much to do. He could have said, I need time for succession planning. I need to write my will. I have things to do. I never went to the Swiss Alps. एक बार जाके आने दो. 7 दिन है सिर्फ. No. He gave up everything, gave up his family, didn't see his wife, did not see his children for 7 days. He wanted to hear Harikatha, Ugra Shrava. He was so eager to hear. And therefore, what came out from Shukdev Goswami for Parikshit Maharaj, what came out directly from Sri Krishna to Arjun, is unprecedented, my dear friends. Therefore, it's an offense to even compare Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita with any other book of religion. It's an offense. Sri Krishna is speaking directly. He's saying it. Mata parataram nanyat kenchidasi dhananjaya. Aham sarvasya prabha mata sarvam pravartate. Sarva yonishu kaunte aham bija pradapita. Krishna is saying. He is Supreme Person. Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. And it's also Arjun saying it. Ahustas Rishayam Sarve, Devarshir Naradas Tatha, Asito, Devalo, Vyaso, Swayam Jaiva Bhavishime. That is Bhagavad Gita. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is Pramanamamalam. It's the pure, spotless evidence. Because the recipients were so high class. Bhagwan Vyasdev was sitting in front of Shukdev Goswami, his own guru. Devarshi Narad Muni was sitting. Vishwamitra Muni was sitting. Vashishta Muni was sitting. Bhagwan Parshuram was sitting in the Sabha. It's a very, very high class audience. You cannot get better audience than that. And therefore, what came out was the highest exposition of philosophy and devotional mellows, both Tattva and Rasa. Thank you very much, dear devotees. What happens next, we will see, Krishna willing, from tomorrow. Grantaraj Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai, because it is the Amrit of Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavatamritam is the nectar of Bhagavatam. It was a crash course, not overview of Bhagavatam, but the essence of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatamritam. He heard Bhagavatam and he's giving Bhagavatamritam, the nectar. Just like Makhan is the nectar of milk. You have to take milk, you have to boil the milk, you have to change it into yogurt. Then you uh, churn the yogurt, and then butter comes. And then you slowly heat that butter and you get ghee. So just like butter and ghee are the essence of milk. Here is milk and here is ghee. Maharaj Parikshit is giving ghee to his mother. Hare Krishna. Giving ghee to his mother. He has drunk the milk, not biologically. He has drunk the milk metaphorically from his Gurudev, Sri Shukdev Goswami. He has digested it. Boiling, churning, slow heating has happened. And now mother is saying, Beta, you are leaving me in few hours, couple of hours, you will be gone. Please tell me the essence of what you heard for last 7 days. I could not come because all the sadhus were sitting. I'm a poor lady. Yes, mother, I will give you the ghee now. The essence, the heart of what was spoken. And Venu Geet, Gopi Geet, Brahmar Geet, Akrur Milan, meeting at Kurukshetra later on. All that essence of the 10th canto is being presented by Parishit Maharaj. Hari Bol. And we are so fortunate to receive it in the 21st century from the comfort of our home in a nice PDF. This is all mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Acha, Premlatika Mataji has a question. Yes, Mataji. Abhi unmute कीजिए.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, is it okay if you have time?
Yes, yes, I'm off today.
Prabhuji, like you said, that Krishna was also feeling, not fully what he was actually. He had, and then in our situation, in this material world, it happens many times that we are also not in that conducive environment. Sometimes, maybe because of our work situation or home situation or temple situation, we are not like you're saying that the recipient has to be that much, enthusiastic. If we don't get that environment, so how to still keep that enthusiasm of serving?
I was talking to one devotee just now when I had gone for the leadership conference, temple president's meeting in Washington, D.C. I was talking to one very senior devotee who I have a lot of respect for. He has transformed the hearts of hundreds of devotees in North America. Very nice sadhu. And I invited him to Atlanta. I said, please come to ISKCON of Greater Atlanta and give classes. He said, honestly, Prabhuji, and I've been inviting him for at least last 2 years, and he has not come even once. He said, honestly, Prabhuji, I have considered your invitation many times, but the reason I don't come to ISKCON of Greater Atlanta or ISKCON of Atlanta or ISKCON of North Atlanta, reason I don't come to Atlanta is because I'll come for 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, I'll give classes and I'll go away. But my local congregation will suffer. And I feel that in my local congregation, I can make a deeper impact. Because in my local congregation, for the Saturday, Sunday programs, new devotees come, new people come. And if I am not there to meet them, greet them, take their contact, make them feel welcomed, connect them to the appropriate group in the city where they can follow up, then that opportunity is lost. Also, the devotees that I have been serving already, cultivating already, if I don't give them time, if I disappear for a weekend, they miss me. They feel, they say that they feel, even when I go sometimes, Kartik, I go to Vrindavan, they tell me that Prabhuji, this Kartik was very bad because you were not there. So he said, if I start accepting invitations and I start traveling, I will make some impact. Because see, we are all here to make an impact in the service of Srila Prabhupada. Contribute. We are here to contribute. Na? We are receiving from the parampara, and the natural outcome is we also want to share it. He says that I can make a better impact in my community than if I divide my time with other communities. If there I'll come, I'll give a class and go, I'll make little impact because there is no follow up with them. But in my community, there is follow up. In my community, I can make a greater impact. So therefore, I will not come. I have not come and I will not come. I feel I can make a bigger contribution in my community because I can follow. So the lesson I learned, Mataji, is that we have to see which environment we can make a greater contribution. And this devotee is so well loved that all the leaders in North America want him to go to the next step now, becoming a guru. But I liked his way of thinking that serve where you can make a greater impact. If someone is not receptive to your message, to your service, then what is the point? It is like pouring water on a rock. That same water you pour on a plant, the plant will grow very nicely. We have limited water. So now we have a choice whether we pour it on a rock, dry rock, or we pour it on a plant that is thirsty for water. So we should give our services where devotees are thirsty for our service, where there is a need for our service. And if the environment is inconducive, then we have to really ask ourselves, should I start something different with a different set of people? Because there are receptive people all over the world. We go on book distribution or we uh, travel somewhere, you start talking to people, preaching, sharing the message, you realize how much people are hungry actually for Krishna consciousness. As George Harrison writes in the beginning of the Krishna book, that everyone is looking for Krishna. Some know it, some don't know it. If someone is, I have one friend, a physician friend, he's orthopedic surgeon from India. He travels wherever the Indian cricket team goes. He follows their schedule. Oh, they are going to Australia, book tickets Australia. बहुत पैसा है. Book tickets to Australia. I'm going to watch the cricket games. Team is coming to America, he will come to US to watch the games. But actually, he's looking for Krishna. Actually, he's looking to play with Krishna in the forest of Vrindavan with Sridhama, Sudama, Madhumangal. He just doesn't know it. He's trying to extract some rust from cricket 2020. Everybody is looking for Krishna. So therefore, we should give our time and attention to those people, those audience, in those places where there is demand. And in some places where people don't want our service or they don't appreciate our service or the environment is not good, whether it is at home, whether it is in office, whether it is in our devotional realm, then it is like pouring water on a dry rock. We have limited time, limited resources, limited ability to speak Harikatha, limited ability to connect with devotees and guide them and help them and serve them and support them. So that limited ability should be used cautiously. It's like ghar ka budget. If we have $5,000 per month income, then we budget it nicely. कितना मॉर्गेज को जाएगा, इतना यूटिलिटीज के बिल पे करने में, इंटरनेट, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल, वाटर बिल, this much for grocery, this much for recreation, this much for donations, this much for emergency expenses, and this much will go in the retirement account. We budget it. Similarly, our time, our energy, our ability to preach. क्योंकि हमारे पास टाइम कितना है माता जी? We have to sleep for 6 hours, sometimes 7, 8 hours, like I did last night. We have to eat, we have to bathe, we have to do our work, we have to cook, we have to clean the house, we have to take care of the children. Sometimes we have to take care of our parents, take care of other things, do our own sadhana. Now tell me how much time is left for seva in ISKCON. Very little time for grahasthas. Now that also, if we give watering the rock, what is the use? So if the environment is not conducive, then we have to question ourselves, am I serving in the right place? Or should I need to switch gears? And if we, Gauram Prabhu gave a very nice presentation on the history of the West and how things change right from the time of Swami Vivekananda. In the 19th century, he came. In the 20th century, Srila Prabhupada came. Towards the second half, mid second half of the 20th century, Srila Prabhupada came. 1965, Srila Prabhupada came and he was active physically, personally, in a manifest form till 1977. And before that, which yogis came and Paramahamsa Yogananda, Ityadi, and what impact they had. And after Srila Prabhupada, who came? Like, uh, what is Jaggu Vasudev ji and Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji and others. They came after Srila Prabhupada. So all these are very impactful, influential practitioners of Sanatan Dharma. The details may be different, and they had impact. And how things change. In the 19th century and 20th century, it was mainly books. In the 21st century, it is social media. Now, if we say that I am a traditionalist, I will only distribute books. I don't care about Instagram. I don't care about Facebook. I don't care about YouTube. I don't care about Zoom. We will be left behind. So we have to understand the changing nature of this world and adapt to the changes. Otherwise, we will be left behind in the growth curve. So we have to understand what Krishna is indicating to us. पानी को कितना भी मंथन करने से घी नहीं निकलेगा. If we find that हम पानी का मंथन कर रहे हैं, then we have to immediately stop and rethink our plan of action and give our services, give our energy where it is fruitful, where the audience are receptive, and where we also feel nurtured, because we are not just givers, we are receivers also. So we have to be in a place where we will be nourished also. Otherwise, after some time, we will be depleted. कार में कितना भी अच्छा भी, टेस्ला में कितना भी चार्ज कर दिया, बट देन वी नीड access to a charging station also regularly. When it comes to 20% battery life, battery charge, immediately we have to charge it as soon as possible. Then again you come to 80%, again you go. Similarly in bhakti, we can give, but we have to keep receiving also. And we have to receive more. We cannot give till we become 0%. Otherwise, what will happen? The car won't start only. इसीलिए 20% पे आ गया, you have to recharge. और इतना भी चार्ज नहीं करना है कि हम कुछ वापस ना दे पाए. ऐसा नहीं कि सिट एंड वी चार्ज 100%. नहीं नहीं, अभी मैं चार्जिंग कर रहा हूँ, अभी मैं चार्जिंग कर रहा हूँ, अभी आई कैन नॉट प्रीच, आई कैन नॉट टॉक. ऐसा नहीं. वी हैव टू हैव दैट ब्यूटिफुल बैलेंस बिटवीन 20% एंड 80%. हमें लो भी नहीं होना है बैटरी, और इतना भी हाई नहीं जाना है कि हम 100% चार्ज ही करते रहे. दैट स्वीट बैलेंस is what Shri Krishna refers to as the Suvarna Madhyam. Yukta ahar viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasya, yukta swapnam, yoga bhavati dukkha. So we have to be in a place where we are nourished. इतना भी नरिश नहीं कि हम केवल गुरु महाराज के साथ रहेंगे. जहां जहां गुरु महाराज जाएंगे हम वहीं पे रहेंगे. पंढरपुर, अरावड़े, उधर ही नोएडा, हम और कहीं नहीं जाएंगे. नो, गुरु महाराज wants us to go and share with others. If you only remain with Guru Maharaj, then what will happen to the rest of the world? So we have to be in the 20 to 80%. We are receiving also, giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving. Not giving too much and not receiving too less. Not receiving too much and not giving too less. That is the art of balance. That is Yuktahar Viharascha. I hope this helps, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. It's really helpful. And I was feeling that Krishna also have that feeling. Krishna also feels that he had to keep his flute, which is very, very dear to him. So he had that, because definitely हम सोचते हैं कि हम devotees हो जाते हैं तो कभी कभी feelings नहीं होती, but this is very important. भगवान को भी feel होता है. तो who are we? Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada wrote in a Vyas Puja offering to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada something which Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada loved it. And he told His Holiness Saranga Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj that whatever Abhay Charanaраvinda Prabhu writes, you should print it. And that was that that poem, one of the stanzas in that English poem, Vyas Puja poem that Srila Prabhupada wrote was, Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. कि एब्सोल्यूट इज सेंशियंट. एब्सोल्यूट जो है भगवान कृष्णा, उन्हें भी सेंटिमेंट्स है. लॉर्ड कृष्णा इज द एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ, बट ही ऑल्सो हैज फीलिंग्स, ही ऑल्सो हैज सेंटिमेंट्स, ही ऑल्सो फील्स बैड. जैसा आप कह रहे थे, वो भी अपनी मुरली रख दी उन्होंने कि नहीं, यहां पर श्रोतागण योग्य नहीं है वेणु माधुरी का श्रवण करने के लिए, श्रवण पान करने के लिए, कि योग्यता नहीं है, ये क्या समझेंगे. So he also feels bad. He also has emotions. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada loved it so much. He said, whatever, he has understood my heart. Abhay Babu has understood my heart. Whatever he writes, you print. He gave standing instructions. Very well. Thank you, Premlati Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Hare
Shri.
Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.